So, okay guys, another video for the topic. The topic is all about the taxonomy. What is taxonomy? Taxonomy is the branch of biology that classifies all living things. Um, it was developed by the Swedish botanist Carlos Linnaeus. I don't know what is the pronunciation of his name, who lived during the 18th century, and his systems of classification is still used today. Linnaeus invented the binomial nomenclature, the system of giving each type of organism a genus and species name. He also developed a classification system called taxonomic hierarchy, which today has 8 ranks from general to specific. The first is domain, kingdom, phylum or phylum. I don't know what is the correct pronunciation. The next is class, order, family, genus, and species. A taxon is a group of organisms that are classified as a unit. This can be specific or general. For example, we could say that all humans are a taxon at the species level since they are all the same species, but we could also say that humans along with all other primates are a taxon at the order level since they all belong to the other primates. Species and other are orders. Species and orders are both examples of taxonomic ranks, which are relative levels of grouping organisms in a taxonomic hierarchy. The following is a brief description of the taxonomic ranks that make up the taxonomic hierarchy. The first is the domain. Domain is the highest or the most general rank of organisms. Linnaeus did not invent some of the taxonomic ranks, but he did not invent domain rank, which is relatively new. The term domain wasn't used until 1990, over 250 years after Linnaeus developed his classification system in 1735. The 3 domains of life are bacteria, archaea, and eukaryota. Archaea are single-celled organisms similar to bacteria. Some archaea live in extreme environments, but others live in mild ones. Eukaryota, or every living thing on Earth that is not bacterium or archaeon, is more closely related to the domain archaea than to the bacteria. Taxonomic ranks are always capitalized, except for species. This allows people to differentiate between bacteria, or the organisms could refer to all bacteria or just to specific bacteria, and bacteria, the domain, which includes all bacteria. The next is the kingdom. Before domains, we're introduced kingdom. Well, before domains were introduced, the kingdom was the highest taxonomic rank. In the past, the different kingdoms were Animalia, Plantae, Fungi, Protista, Archaea, and Bacteria. Or the Archaea and Bacteria were sums grouped into one kingdom, Monera. However, some of these groupings, such as Protista, are not very accurate. Protista includes all eukaryotic organisms that are not animals, plants, or fungi, but some organisms are not very closely related to one another. There is not there is no set agreement on the classification, and some researchers have abandoned it altogether. The next is the phylum or the phylum. The phylum is the next rank after kingdom. It is more specific than kingdom but less specific than class. There are 35 phyla in the kingdom Animalia, including chordata, or the all organisms with a dorsal nerve cord, porifera, sponge or the sponges, and the arthropoda or the arthropods. The next is class. Class was the most general rank proposed by Linnaeus. Phyla were not introduced until the 19th century. There are 108 different classes in the kingdom Animalia, including Mammalia, or the mammals, aves or aves, I don't know, or the birds, and the reptilia or the reptiles, among many others. The classes of Animalia that Linnaeus proposed are similar to the ones used today, but Linnaeus' classes of plants were based on attributes like the arrangement of flowers rather than relatedness. Today, classes of plants are different than the ones Linnaeus used, and classes are not frequently used in botany. The next is order. Order is more specific than class. Some of Linnaeus' orders are still used today, such as the Lepidoptera or the order of butterflies and moths. There are between 19 to 26 orders of Mammalia, depending on how organisms are classified. Sources differ. Some order of Mammalia are primates, cetaceans, or on the ocean, like whales, dolphins, and porpoises. The next, carnivora, or the carnivore, large carnivores or omnivores, and chiroptera, or the bats. The next is family. Family is in turn more specific. Some families in the order of Carnivora, for examples, are Canidae, or the dogs, wolves, and foxes. The Felidae, or I don't know what is the correct pronunciation of this, Felidae, or the cats. Mephitidae, or the skunks, and Orcidae, or the bears. There are 12 total families in the order of carnivore, or the carnivore rather. Genus is even more specific than family. It is the first part of organism's scientific name using binomial nomenclature. The second part is the species name. An organism's scientific name is always italicized, and the genus name is capitalized, while the species name is not. Genus and species are the only taxonomic ranks that are italicized. The scientific name for humans is Homo sapiens. Oh, so that is the scientific name. Homo is the genus name, while sapiens is the species name. All other species in the genus Homo are extinct. Some were ancestral to humans, such as Homo erectus. Others lived at the same time, were closely related, and interbred with Homo sapiens, such as Homo neanderthalensis, the Neanderthals. The next is, the last is species. Is the most major taxonomic rank. Species are sometimes divided into subspecies, But not all species have multiple forms that are different enough to be called subspecies. There are an estimated 8.7 million different species of organisms on Earth based on what I have researched, but the vast majority have yet to be discovered and or categorized. While each genus name is unique, the same species can be used for different organisms. For example, Ursus americanus is the American black bear, while Bufo americanus is the American toad. The species name is always italicized but never capitalized. It is the only taxonomic rank that is not capitalized in scientific articles where the species name is used many times. It is abbreviated after the first full use by using just the letter of the genus name along with the full species name, like the Homo sapiens is abbreviated to H. sapiens. The example of the taxonomy of the scientific classification of human is, for example, the domain Eukaryota, kingdom Animalia, phylum the Chordata, class Mammalia, order Primates, family Hominidae. Next is genus Homo and the species is Sapiens. And that would be all for the topic of taxonomy, and I hope you understand my explanation.